Deaf dog runs towards 7-year-old girl in the witness box inside a courtroom for an unbelievable reason.
But before we start, please take a moment to give this video a like, subscribe to Happy World, and hit the bell so you'll never miss these great stories.
A dog is a man's best friend. Someone anonymous correctly stated the phrase, "No matter how bad your mood is, by seeing a glimpse of your dog, you tend to forget all your worries and head on to have a walk or play session with your dog." Dogs are the creatures that would turn our gloomy days into sunny, and they do not understand lies that their masters tell them. Dogs are the epitome of loyalty and love. Ignoring their pain, these species heal the human's heart and soul. Carl, a dog with special powers, made something happen that restored faith in humanity. Joanne Hart Rittenhouse, a dog trainer, while choosing a dog to train, was mesmerized on seeing a dog crawling amongst 5 others. She found the little creature more attractive than any other, so she asked the authorities to bring the cute little puppy to her. With his twinkling big eyes and shivering body, the puppy was brought to Joanne. In the very first meeting, Joanne decided to adopt that puppy. Before she could actually do it, she was told the truth about the dog, which made Joanna rethink her words. Joanna was brought in to notice that the puppy she chose to adopt was a little special than any other puppies present there, as this pup lacked something vital for any creature or species on this earth. The thing he was not blessed with was the hearing power. The pet shop authorities took a bold step and honestly told Joanna that the dog she was about to adopt was deaf by birth. Other than that, the dog was perfectly fine and, if well trained, could respond like any other dog. This made Joanna silent for a while. Joanna, after knowing the fact, was a bit uneasy and not that confident about adopting the puppy. She took 5 minutes alone and thought that she had been training many dogs since she landed up in this course. Training a deaf dog would be challenging for her, but she would get to learn more while doing so. The dog trainer stepped inside the pet house again and, with full determination, asked the authorities to shift the deaf dog to her place. She agreed to train the deaf dog. Her decision made authorities happy, and they wished her good luck for the rest of the training sessions. The day that dog arrived at her house, Carl could not resist herself from training the dog on the very first day. She gave the little pup the name Carl. Joanna wanted Carl to be the best among all her trained dogs because she found something special in Carl. Joanna spotted one positive aspect of being deaf. She discovered that training Carl would not be that difficult, as he would easily pass. There is a session in which a dog has to neglect background noises and stay still. In this, Carl could easily master. Carl and Joanna shared a perfect bond between master and pet. Joanna would treat Carl like human being and would always want best for the deaf pup. Carl, on the other hand, started understanding and reciprocating whatever he was asked to do. Unlike many other dogs, Carl was somewhat different. Ignoring the fact that he was deaf, he was still better than other dogs because he was not that ordinary pet dog. With the acceptance of the training, Carl accepted many other hidden responsibilities that he was supposed to take care of. Carl was being trained to become a canine circuit dog. He was entitled to be friendly and make humans feel safe and secure, especially kids. He underwent many of the training sessions before actually practicing the skills in an actual case. Carl was only 5 years old when he got his first case of making a child calm. All he had to do was stand beside the kid while the kid testifies in court. Carl started his journey on a positive note. Joanna brought Carl to the courtroom. While Carl went into the courtroom, many people were amazed by the fact that a deaf dog served as a canine circuit dog. The courtroom was filled with amusement when Joanna signaled Carl with her hands, and Carl responded to it. Carl was waiting for the kid to come so that he could make the kid a bit comfortable, and the testification would be done in a proper manner. Carl's strong build was definitely going to make the kid feel safe, and the decision-making authorities could easily make a justified decision. Carl had successfully learned to understand sign language And this just goes to show how amazingly intelligent he was. Carl had been trained to use American Sign Language to communicate. All the trainers were amazed as he quickly understood the commands shown to him. The wait was over. With an old woman, there came a little girl of 7 years or so. She was the one who needed to testify in the courtroom. With trembling legs, she stepped towards the chair that had been placed especially for her. As she came into the courtroom, she began to look here and there. This was an indication that the girl was not feeling calm and anxiety was hitting her over and over. This made Joanna send Carl near to the girl so that Carl could calm her down. Before Joanna could send Carl there, the judge ordered to bring the man in front of the audience so that the case could go on further. As a man came into the courtroom, the girl, who was already anxious, could not withstand to bear the look of that man. She felt uneasy and demanded to go out of the courtroom. That was the high time for Carl to meet that girl and make her stable. Joanna signaled Carl to sit beside the girl so that she could feel safe. As soon as Carl walked in, there was a flickering change in the expression of the girl. She was a little less nervous, which made Joanna relax. Sitting in a serious courtroom would make the girl more apprehensive. Therefore, Carl tried to bring the situation under control. He started by shaking hands, actually paws, with the girl. The girl smiled and forgot at the moment that she was in front of her assaulter. After confirming that the girl was all right, the courtroom began with further process. The lawyers began to present their points and started with their justifications. While the arguments were getting flamed, the little one grew a little conscious, and that frightened look could be visibly seen. The man who was accused of molesting the kid started speaking. He had direct eye contact with the girl child. It seemed as if he was asking the kid to say nothing regarding the case. The already scared child lowered her neck and started crying loudly. The girl cried loudly, which made the lawyers and judges worried. The audience thought that they would not get to hear the decision and court would be adjourned. The girl requested lawyers to send her home so that she could be safe with her parents. When everyone present in the room was under the impression that the court was adjourned, the accused man smirked and gave a sinister look to the girl. The girl stopped in and closed her eyes so that she could escape that evil look. While her eyes were closed, she felt a comforting paw patting her hand. The girl opened her eyes and saw Carl patting her hand with his loving paw. She had no idea how to react in that situation. All she did was analyze the situation and overcome her fears. She saw Carl standing by her side when everyone lost their hopes. She looked here and there and decided on something. The girl had no way to go back, and she could not live with that fear anymore. She decided that she would speak out the truth, and this way she could punish her assaulter. She looked into the eyes of Carl and gathered all her courage to speak for herself. After gathering all her courage, she stood up and sought the attention of the people sitting there. On being asked a series of questions, she started with her testification. All she said was valid and matching the storyline. She provided every detail in front of the court. After having done with the testification, she straightaway went to Carl and hugged him tightly. She could not gather that much of strength all alone. The girl cried out loud and did not let Carl go of her sight. She talked to Carl and expected him to answer back. She did not know that Carl could not listen. She jumped around, but Carl stayed like a cemented statue. She instructed Carl to sit, but Carl could not listen. She raised her pitch so that she could be audible enough. To her dismay, Carl did not respond to her. As Joanne saw her speaking on the top of her voice, she broke in and asked the little girl to slow down a little. The girl complained that Carl was not listening to her, which made her a little sad. Joanne smiled and told the girl that Carl could not listen. Hearing this fact, the girl was taken aback and asked if he could get back his hearing power. Ignoring her questions, Joanne changed the topic by saying that she was brave there. Joanne knew that the little girl went through a lot, and whatever she did needed a lot of effort. The little girl was unaware of the fact that she was actually assaulted by the man, which is a great deal. Joanne concluded that the girl was brave and bold enough to raise her voice against the odds in front of everyone. After Joanne was finished speaking, the girl turned to Carl and whispered in his ear. "Thank you, friend, you are the best," she said. "Christmas is around the corner, and I would write to Santa asking him to give you your hearing power." The whisper was clearly audible, and Joanna could not help shedding her tears after hearing whatever the little girl said. The accused was proven guilty in front of the court. He was been taken to prison by the cops. While leaving the courtroom, he clenched his teeth and stared at the little girl with those nasty eyes. This time, for a change, the girl stared him back ferociously, which made the man break eye contact. Joanna was impressed by the confidence the girl built up at that moment. The difference in the attitude of the little girl was drastic. Joanna knew that all the confidence she gained was all because of Carl. Carl was the one who supported the girl when everything and everyone was against her. Carl came in for her like a source of inspiration, which made him a hero in front of the girl. The little girl expressed that she wants to be friends with Carl for her lifetime. She asked for the address and phone number so that she could come and visit Carl whenever she wished to. Joanna, without a second thought, gave the little girl her card and invited her to visit her house. This marked the starting of a new friendship that is yet to be flourished.